Hey, it's Mary Sheila, and I am going to be making some dukkah. I love dukkah, and all I have to say is you're welcome. I encourage you to make this as soon as you can because it is so delicious on everything. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, let me just tell you about dukkah for just a second. Dukkah is an Egyptian spice blend. And when I was a teacher, I was grading somebody's homework and they had made dukkah as one of their recipes. So not such bad things to have to grade as people's recipes. And a lot of times I would find recipes that I absolutely loved and I would print them out and keep them for myself. And I read this dukkah recipe and my taste buds just started firing. But I didn't have everything that I needed to make it. So what I did is I just made my own version. So this is an Egyptian spice blend a la Mary Sheila. And very simple. And what you need is you just need a hot pan, and that's what we're gonna start with. What I'm gonna do first is I'm just gonna toast some pumpkin seeds, okay? There's my old favorite pumpkin seeds. So I've done a lot of pumpkin seed recipes, and so now you can see there's lots of ways to use them. So when you buy a bag of pumpkin seeds, you can use them in lots of different ways, in pestos and in spice blends, on salads. I've done it on cauliflower rice, so lots of ways to do it. So I'm just starting out with a little bit of a toast of my dukkah, of my pumpkin seeds. So I'm just gonna toast them a little bit. And again, this is the kind of thing you don't wanna walk away, right? You walk away and you burn your seeds and that's sad, right? So I'm just toasting my seeds. And I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but just trust me on this one. And it's a glorious spring day. It was so beautiful outside. And this dukkah, once I make it, just spices everything up. So I've got my pumpkin seeds, high in zinc, really good for the prostate, good for the immune system, good for the stomach acid, just an all-around important antioxidant, and great fiber in pumpkin seeds. And you can start to hear them pop. Yay, I don't want to toast them too high, so I'm going to take them off the burner right now. And next thing I'm going to toast is sesame seeds. So I have some beautiful black sesame seeds. There's different colored ones. I got the black ones this time. Just because I think they're so pretty, and you know, the black, you're gonna have some different probably minerals in there a little bit, but they're able to pull up a few different antioxidants that they contain. So I am just going to, it's a little bit smoky, I don't know if you can see that, it's just nice and hot. I'm waiting for them to pop. As soon as they start popping, I'm gonna put them in with my pumpkin seeds. And then what I'm gonna toast after that is I'm going to toast some coriander and cumin, two beautiful, cooling, kind of more neutral spices, but enough to get our juices going, our digestive juices going, but not enough to be too hot. So it's a great all-around spice. Whew. A little bit smoky, my pan's a little hot, but it was a quick saute. So here's my cumin and coriander. So I'm actually doubling this recipe, but this recipe normally calls for 1/3 of a cup of hey Karen, and hey Elizabeth, yay, from Colorado. Are you still making your sprouts, Karen? So I've got about 1/3 of a cup of pumpkin seeds and 1/4 of a cup of sesame seeds, but I did double this. And then I've got 2 tablespoons each of coriander and cumin. Now these are super quick. I don't need to do I don't need to let them go too long. And I'm doing this by smell. So I want to smell those spices. I'm waking those spices up, right? Those spices are seeds. They've been sitting for a long time. Well, not too long, hopefully. But they've been sitting for a little while, and I'm waking them up, getting their oils to the surface. I can smell them. They smell really good. I know my pan is hot. I'm going to put them off to the side. Okay, the other thing I'm going to add to my dukkah is about 1/2 of a teaspoon, or actually in this case I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of salt, just because I doubled it. And I can use a measure, but I know that maybe about the palm of my hand, just a little bit is a teaspoon. This makes it easier. The other thing I want to add, which I don't always add, is sea palm seaweed. So this is sea palm. This is my absolute favorite seaweed. I am actually half mermaid, so I've been harvesting seaweed for over 20 years. And this is one that you can find on the Northern California coast. And seaweed is so mineral rich, and it's so delicious and nice and salty. So I'm gonna put a little handful here. I don't need to use that much. I'm gonna use a little handful, and I'm just gonna stick it in my pan, my hot pan, for a very short time. I just wanna crisp it a little bit. I don't always put seaweed in here, but I am today because I was feeling called. It's such a thyroid supportive nutrient. And it's great to get a little seaweed every once in a while. Hey, Sarah. So I'm gonna throw the seaweed in there first into my pan. And again, I just used a tiny bit. I probably could have done more. I'm gonna blend the seaweed first for my spice blend. Just to get it kind of, oh, and it really didn't blend at all. So you know what, I'm gonna probably have to blend this a little bit separately in a different spice blend. Actually, I'll just keep it in there and see. Well, see, I'm figuring this out. I don't always usually when I do seaweed, I use my magic bullet, or you could use your Vitamix to break it down, or you can use a mortar and pestle. So now I'm gonna take my toasted pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, cumin, coriander, and salt. I'm gonna throw it into my Cuisinart, and I'm just gonna blend it. Now, I don't need to blend it forever. I can choose. When I use a magic bullet, it gets it a little finer. I kind of like it a little chunky. I'm just gonna blend this up. And it's pretty chunky still, but I kind of like it like that. So you could see, I don't know if you could see, but you could kind of see it's chunky, but it's broken up. I'm gonna go just a tiny bit more, and this is where, you know, once you make it once, you're gonna know how chunky you want it. Do you want it pretty chunky? Do you want it just a little chunky? Do you want it more really fine? And I would say the less fine you make it, the longer it's gonna last. But once you make it, you are gonna want to put it on everything. So this is where Dukkah is so awesome, because now instead of just adding salt to your meals, you are actually adding spices and seeds. So you're elevating, you're creating more nutrient density in your meal. So if you need to add a little salt to your salad, to your eggs, to a grain, to a protein, to your greens, you can add the Dukkah. I love keeping Dukkah in a little container and taking it to go with me when I go to eat something. I loved making spice blends like this when my daughter was little, and I'd always give her a little bit in a ramekin and she'd eat it, especially even in the afternoon. That's a great time to get your electrolytes, and that's your salt. So you can get your minerals. And she used to say, Mama, will you put it in a ramekin? And I'd put, you know, a little bit of, I always did gamasio then, but I put a little bit of gamasio, or you could put a little bit of, you know, Dukkah in a little bowl for your child. They can dip things into it. It's nice and salty, and I'm just gonna taste it to make sure it's salty enough. Oh, totally. It's like so perfect. So what I usually do with my Dukkah is I just keep it in a nice, I have a, like, oops. I don't usually do it with two hands like that. I have a dedicated jar for my Dukkah, so it's just easy to find in my fridge. It's always in this beautiful blue jar that I picked up at a thrift shop. And sometimes I keep a spoon in there, so it's like super easy. Yes, I will write this recipe on the page. I could even send it to you, Sarah. In fact, if anybody wants me to send them the recipe, I'd be happy to. You can message me your email, but I'll put it in the page too. But I have a really nice recipe that kind of explains everything. But yes, this is so delicious, and I keep it in a nice airtight container. I'm gonna keep it open right now because it's still hot, because I just toasted everything. But again, like I said, eggs, any protein, you can, if you ever like have a piece of toast and put a little butter, and you can put a little salt, you know, a little Dukkah on there. It's just a delicious thing. And now that I also toasted my seaweed that was not blending well in my Cuisinart, I'm gonna have to figure out if I'm gonna actually go back and add this, or I toasted it really briefly on the stove. This is sea palm, and so I got it toasted so it's much more crispy. So I might just throw this in a little bowl, actually probably in this bowl, and keep it right here while I'm gonna be cooking dinner tonight. and I'll just add a little seaweed to whatever it is I end up making. I'm just gonna actually make some cauliflower rice as well. And so I could throw, get this a little bit more broken down and add it to my cauliflower rice at the end. So that is, yes, I will post the recipe, but I have a really nice recipe handout, so you can message me at Occidental Nutrition and I will be happy to send it to you. Yeah, so thanks for watching and stay tuned. I'll do some more of these and I hope you all have a really wonderful evening and make some good food and make some dukkah. So pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, cumin, coriander, and salt. And if you're saying, oh my gosh, I want some of this right now and I wish I could make it, but I only have these seeds, make it with what you have. That's exactly what I did. My original recipe, normally dukkah calls for either pistachio seeds or, hey Kim, blast from the past. Either call for pistachio seeds or I think it's hazelnuts or another one too. But anyway, so nuts that maybe are sometimes more expensive or you might not have on hand. But if whatever you have on hand, use it. You could do it with almonds if you have them. You could do it with walnuts if you have them. Like just have fun. But sesame seeds are pretty essential and cumin and coriander really make it work. All right, y'all, have a good one. Nice to see you all. Thanks.